folks. Welcome back to another episode of Bet GPT. This is, what is the date today? August 11th, 2024. I almost forgot how to do the intro because it's been so long. We've been on a little bit of a hiatus. We haven't potted since July 11th, but we're back.
Exactly a month.
Exactly a month, yeah. So a little vacation. Slade, have you been enjoying your summer? What have you been up to, man?
Well, Bear got married last weekend, so we were all together. I feel like that's really all that's happened in the last month. The Cubs are finally playing decent baseball, I guess, but it might be too late. I know once football season starts, we'll be back to a couple episodes a week. We'll have a schedule. Probably
Yeah, so
next
I did want to talk. Yeah, I did want to talk about that. So we got college football coming up at the end of August. We're gonna have to put that out relatively soon, probably next week, I'd say. Maybe next weekend we can put together the college football preview, and then shortly thereafter the NFL preview. We'll probably do each of those maybe in two parts just to break it down, maybe a half an hour, 40 minutes each on those, because there's just so many things like within futures, awards, player props, stuff like that. But yeah, then obviously we're probably going to start ramping it up, doing at least one episode a week for the NFL and college season, and try to get back to our winning roots. Because if you've looked at our six-pack tracker from the last couple episodes, first of all, they've all been plays by me, so it hasn't been.
I don't have anything when it comes to Olympics and stuff. I don't, or tennis. The only thing I've really been betting on is a little bit of golf here and there, but we're even kind of in a dead spot for big tournaments. I mean, there's MLB regular season, and I'll play a little bit, but those are more just like almost out of boredom. So I'm not going high dollar, and I'm not even really locked into them. I'm just kind of like, oh, I like the Cubs today, I'll throw a few bucks on. But in terms of football season, yeah, I re-listened to our pod last year with the part one, the part two. I think I want to do something similar, where part one will kind of be like we will talk about the college football playoff, how that's all going to work, the 12 teams, the buys, the automatic bids, all that fun stuff. A little bit of conference realignment, things like that. But then I've already started going through and I also want to recap our picks from last year. Year, you, me, and Hack, we all made picks we did like win totals, conferences, national champs. I think it'd just be fun to kind of see how we did for the three of us. And then I've already started looking at lines, win totals. I've placed a few bets. I know I gave out the Iowa over. That's already been bet up a half game, and you're not getting as much juice on those. So we already have some CLV on Iowa football right now. But I've got some others in the bank, but I'm gonna wait to give them out until those pods. But it does kind of stink that like the June market might be like the best time to get an edge, but it's just like that's not where my brain is.
Yeah, that's why I think it's kind of important to focus on one sport if you really want to become like super, super profitable, if you make that your full-time job. Whereas here is like recreational, like, well, I consider us like recreational plus. So like obviously like we like to have fun, but we are in it to make money too. Nothing life-changing, but enough to maybe take a quick vacation or something like that. So
and like the problem is too, if you're someone who is going through like public books like the FanDuels and the DraftKings of the world, thinking about placing a future bet large enough to even be worth your time for something that won't cash until December, January, it seems really stupid. Like even just like throwing $50, $100 on bets in June for something that won't cash for 6-7 months, it's not as fun to do that. So I know most people don't really get those until September because the payouts, a few months sooner.
Yeah, that's a little hypocritical on your part though, because I remember last year I wanted to not give any NFL futures, and I said let's just put all our money into Nvidia, and you said no, we need to stick to sports. So fine, that's if you don't want the profit from me, I won't give out the stock plays. That's fine.
You're right. Yeah. No
Just
stock
playing.
plays. Yeah, I guess if you've got a book that takes credit, June is probably an awesome time to bet college football for future reference. If you're taking a public, the common books, the FanDuels, DraftKings, MGMs, it's understandable to want to hold on to your cash for a few extra months. So that's just um, it feels weird because like you think about it, you're placing like five $50 bets or 10, 50, like that's just a lot of money to put down for something that's, you know,
Yeah,
news can change and injury can happen in camp, things like that as well. So it's not like
yeah.
those are without risk.
Yeah, that's why I haven't placed much futures. I think most of my action lately has been on the Olympics. So if you want to get into some Olympic
Yep.
talk here, um, just quickly recapping our six pack. I gave out a few things. They went 1 and 2 Olympic wise. France under 24.5 golds that easily cashed. Only finished with 16, so that number was way off. Kashane Thompson to win the 100-meter gold. He did not. He lost by 1/100th of a second, so that's on me. After I gave that play out, I was listening to the Deep Dive podcast, and one of the hosts, Drew Ditzik, was talking about how Kashane Thompson, the guy who won, was he won by like 0.3 or 0.03 seconds compared to the American guy, Noah Lyles. And it turns out Kashane Thompson had wind at his back, and Noah Lyles was facing a front wind. So some physics guy put together the equation for that, and it turns out that Noah Lyles was like 0.02 faster in reality, and that ended up coming to fruition as he won. So that's on me for skipping the physics and just looking at the scores and the times. I just wanted to apologize for that.
Noah Lyles has been in the news a lot. I didn't know who he was until like a week ago. I know
Yeah.
he won a gold and something, a bronze and something. He lost, and then he starts talking about, oh, I had COVID, and then USA men's basketball trolled him yesterday after winning the gold. Did you see that?
Yeah. Well,
So
it's because he said the world champion thing. He's like the
yeah,
NBA think they're world. I agree with him though. I agree. I know you probably don't. I think being an Olympic champion is cooler than being an NBA American champion. Sorry.
no,
Yeah, unless you're the superstar. Yeah, I'd rather be an
it
Olympic
would be
individual
cool.
champion than the eighth man.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously if you're like the eighth man, that's different. But I also think if you're Nikola Jokic, like him winning a gold, I think would be better than his Denver Nuggets because he's playing for a small country. He has very little help around him. He's beating all these NBA superstars. Like that would mean more to Serbia than America with 10 Hall of Famers beating a bunch of Euro All-Stars. That's not the same accomplishment. So like I like if Greece won it all with Giannis or something like that would mean more than or France with Wemby. Like that would have meant more to them than it would to America.
Yeah, I know you're not. You're not an American fan. It's okay. It's no
Yeah, I
biggie.
don't. I if you rank like the top 20 players in the NBA, like how many of them were on a non-USA team? Like a handful.
That that can be a homework assignment for you. Next episode, we can start off with your Austin Slade slash Bill Simmons NBA pyramid. So you can
Yeah,
go ahead and
I
release
mean,
that.
you look at the top 20 players in the league, and it's like, okay, Team USA has 15 of them. Serbia has one. Does France have any? Do you think Wemby's a top 20 player? I don't know. I know it's different rules. I'm just like, I don't really care. I know I've gotten a lot of flack for my lack of Olympic cares. I only thing I cared about was Spencer Lee winning the gold medal. He got second. Um, Iowa hasn't really. America in general has not been super hot when it comes to the Olympics. Um, I was surprised to learn that Penn State only has one like Olympic champion ever, and it was like David Taylor. Um,
Yeah.
and then Iowa's kind of on a drought as well. So it would have been really cool to see him do it. He's 25. I think he'll have a chance in 2028, but his body has gone through hell and back. So fingers crossed. But we'll revisit in 4 years. The rules for that were so weird if you watched.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't understand the push out thing. I don't know if more people have been fighting back on that, but
Yeah, and then the overtime criteria is very bizarre. Whoever scored last won.
I know.
So that was
It's
stupid.
I'm in no position to criticize him at all. I don't think anybody in the world really is, other than Brands or someone else on the coaching staff who works with him every day. Yeah, I think he probably should have been a little bit more aggressive, I guess. Maybe that would be his one regret, because if you're going to lose, I'd rather lose by being a little bit more aggressive and like overcompensating than getting taken down, rather than being so passive that you just lose because you weren't the last person to score. And like honestly, that the 2 point takedown for Higuchi, it was just a scramble and he just ended up on top. Like 50-50, could have gone either way. So props to him
Yeah,
though. Got
and
it
on
done.
that takedown, it was like they like did a review, I think, afterwards, and like he was like this close to like getting back points. Spencer was like that's how close the
Hmm.
scramble was. So,
Yeah.
um, oh well. Um, the women won today, right?
Yeah, women's basketball 1 by 1. This just in, they need Caitlin Clark because Chelsea Gray, their point guard, is had like 0 points and 3 assists. Like CC could do that in her sleep. I don't like Sabrina Ionescu had zero. Asia Wilson is the only good player on the team, I swear. So
So why are all the good players not playing? I don't understand this whole all-star team
okay,
scrimmage.
dude, we're gonna talk about this for like 30 seconds. I don't want to talk about this. They had the All Star. They had 24 people picked for the All Star game. And so they had like the 12 for the Olympic team, and then they pick another 12. So those 12 on the Olympic team were already WNBA All Stars. They just expanded the field this year. So it was just an ultra big, it was just two teams essentially got picked for the All Star team. I guess they do that in the NBA too, but they split it up with one team was just the whole Olympic team. That's all it was. And it really wasn't. Yes, the WNBA All Stars won, but no one really cares because it's an All Star game.
That is
Any other
so
questions?
stupid. That is
Yeah,
so
well,
stupid.
it was on 3 Sundays ago. I don't know why you didn't watch, but yeah. Did you see Dave Portnoy today put $100,000 on the Indiana Fever to win the title at 100 to 1?
For
Do you
this
think they have?
year,
Yeah, do you think they have any chance? They started 1-7, and since then, they've
um,
improved greatly.
do they have a chance? Yes. Is that a stupid bet? Yes.
Okay,
What book would even take that bet though? They're kind of stupid too.
DraftKings because he's a partner, but yeah,
Oh, yeah. That's
but yeah, I
I
looking
don't see
looking
it.
into the second half of the WNBA season. I'd like to bet the Fever game by game. I'm not interested in any futures for them. I think the Liberty and the Aces are too good. I think we can give the Lynx a look at 8-1 or the Suns at 9-1, but I'd probably stay out of that market.
You know, we did our how we would draft the Olympic team or whatever it was like a month or two
Yeah,
ago. So
yeah,
you know, I'm an Aces guy. I think the Aces are going to get it done.
sounds good. Whenever you want to put that on the 6 pack, just let me know, man.
I gotta find Kate Martin is healthy, right? Because that's all that
Yeah,
matters. All right, then
yeah.
yeah.
Um, let's talk about some other bets we got going on here. I guess at least personally. Do you have anything as of right now in the MLB Awards market that you think is live? And to give you a second while you think of it, AL MVP, Judge, it's going to be Judge or Bobby Witt, so you can get into that. NL MVP, it's probably going to be Shohei. Cy Young in the AL still a race. NL Cy Young's a race. I guess AL Rookie of the Year's a race, but Paul Skeens is running away in the NL Rookie of the Year. Is there anything a listener could do right now if they have no exposure? Any recommendations? Because I will say around this time, both of these guys are 110 games in. Gunnar Henderson from last year versus Colton Cowser from right now. They have eerily similar statistics. And I remember we got Gunnar. That was our first bet at like plus 230 to win Rookie of the Year. Cowser, though, is minus 190.
Um, I the only bets that I mean, I think MLB MVP or National League MVP is done. I think you pretty much nailed
Okay,
it there.
Otani.
I have money on Witt and Judge already, so I wouldn't touch it. I think Bobby Witt is closer than most people do, but I don't think he's gonna win. He has some weird home road splits that are kind of sus. He's hitting a lot better at home. I think that will probably hurt him a little bit. If the Yankees totally collapse, which is not out of the question, and the Royals make a run, so I don't know. I think plus 460 is probably fair for Bobby Witt. Um, I feel like if you're gonna find value somewhere, it's probably in that National League Cy Young. Chris Sale at minus 110 seems a little risky. Like I would not play that because we know Chris Sale has the potential to go down at any time, and the Braves are already kind of thin in pitching, so maybe they're gonna he might be already going longer into games and they probably want him to go. Um, Skeens is third on the list. I would not touch that either. Um, I think he's on an innings limit, I'm sure. Hunter Green fourth, so no. So I feel like you're either going to probably play Zach Wheeler at plus 185 or Dylan Cease 29 to 1. But I like Dylan Cease more for like the strikeout leader award than I do actually winning the Cy Young. So I'd probably say Zach Wheeler for Cy Young plus 185 is the one that I like the most. Um,
Yeah.
Austin Wells is making a push in the AL Rookie of the Year. I just don't think I see it because he was so bad the first half. And
Yeah,
our
he
our
he
boy
has
White
he has the
Langford, what the hell's going on? He just falls off.
he's bad. Don't bet him ever.
Right.
So going off what you said, I pulled up the Tom Tango tracker, who we've talked about this before, but he has his criteria here where at the end of the season he's predicted like 8 out of the last 9 winners. Formula: innings pitched divided by 2 minus ERA or earned runs plus strikeouts divided by 10 plus wins. You can look it up on his website, which is baseballmusings.com/Tom Tango Tracker. But anyway, so he has Chris Sale at 54.3 points and Zach Wheeler at 53.9. So they're right there. A little bit of a gap. Then there's Hunter Green, Ronaldo Lopez, Dylan Cease. So I think it is going to come down to those two. In the AL, he has Tariq Skubal with a huge lead over Seth Lugo and Corbin Burns. Seth Lugo is just like, I don't care if he throws a no hitter the next 2 games. That guy is a blow up waiting to happen.
Yeah.
That guy is boring. That guy is shades of Rick Porcello winning the Cy Young. Get out of here.
Yeah, it's
I
not
don't want to.
happening.
No, I don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah, that's not
So
happening. I think Scooble's going to win. Minus 330's not enough value to play that. There's no one else on the board I like. Burns is plus 300 only because of his name, more so than really anything statistically. So I would probably stay away from that one too.
maybe I'm just biased. I probably am, but let's look at the NL Rookie of the Year. Paul Skeens minus 1,000. Obviously, he's having a great year. He started the All Star game. The media loves him. Jeff Passan, who I like, always hypes him up. All that good
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But Jackson Merrill, the last 10 games, Padres are the hottest team in baseball. They've won 15 out of 17, I think, or 16 out of 18.
Yep.
Um, excuse me, over the last 10 games, he had a ninth inning home run to tie the game against the Dodgers. He had a ninth inning game tying and home run, and then a game winning sac fly. He also had a ninth inning game running homer, an eighth inning game tying homer. Like, this is over 10 games. He's had 5 home runs in the eighth or ninth inning to help them win a game. So
I agree.
yeah,
I've been
so
betting him slowly the last like 2 months. Whenever Skeens was up to like minus 1,500, I got what's Merrill at like a better number than now. But Skeens did get rocked yesterday, and by rocked I mean he gave up 4 runs. But the Pirates are 2-8 in their last 10, and then like you said, the Padres are like the hottest team in baseball right now. Um, I think that if the Pirates get out of it, they're going to shut him down. They're
you
already
think so?
trending that way. They're 2-8 in their last 10. Like if they get 10 back or 8 back of a wild card, what's the point of pitching him and pushing his career innings or like past his career high in innings?
Well, two things here I want to say. One, if he does get Rookie of the Year, I think they get a first round pick, correct? They get like pick 31 or something like that.
That's true.
So that's one thing. But another thing, in my Discord, someone sent in, it looks like it's from Fangraphs, Paul Skeens velocity numbers. So back in March and April, he was topping out. His release speed was between 100 and 100.5. His release speed right now is down to 98. So we're seeing a 2% decrease. Also, for vertical movement on his pitches, he had 7 inches back in March. It's down to 4.9 inches.
That's what
So
I like to hear.
he is regressing. I'm not saying he's not going to win the award, but I do not think it's any coincidence that he got hit harder yesterday. Yes, it was the Dodgers, but if you want to fade Skeens or at least maybe bet like the team total over for the other team, I think that's definitely live. So
Yeah, I agree. Him being 5-1 to win the Cy Young is nuts. I mean, he wasn't
no,
even
I'm not
here
yet.
till what, late May, and then he yeah, I just that would be kind of crazy. I know the National League isn't loaded with pitching, but I would stay away from that. I agree with you on Merrill. I think that's probably like, will it win? Maybe not, but I think it's still good value. It's the right process. So um,
Yeah. I'm just in a tough position with him. Can try to pull my number up here. And if any of you, I guess, listen to our preseason pod or our MLB planning pod, I did give out a Jackson Merrill future.
yeah,
I was on him.
I'd be
Let me
lying if I
see.
said that we aren't a little biased because Paul Skeens has the chance to really screw us. Because
Yeah.
I think Merrill might be my most heavily bet future, and I know you've been
Yeah.
on him for a long time, and you got him at even a way better numbers than
Yeah.
me.
I
So
have him at 4. I have him at 40 to 1 to win a couple G's. So I really need Skeens to get rocked, or at least if it can get close to a pick 'em, I would love to be able to hedge, but
yeah,
I mean, it's
we're
just
on
going to be
Skeens watch
we're
basically.
on Skeens watch. Yeah, we're gonna start going live every single Skeens start here on
Yeah,
YouTube.
just
But
overanalyzing every earned run.
yeah, hey, the other guys in the market showed us 35 to 1. You know, he's been better after like a rough like month or so. Jackson Churio for the Brewers has been good. Tyler Fitzgerald for the Giants has really come on strong. Mason Wynn for the
Mhm.
Cardinals has been all right. Those guys I think are going to be good MLB players, no doubt. Obviously, Shota already is, but the race is coming down to Skeens and Merrill, so we'll just keep an
Yeah,
eye on that. Yeah. Other than that, I do not have any big leans. I think Colton Cowser does end up winning it. I think his advanced numbers, and he's actually an elite defender, which obviously it's like if you're just casually watching baseball, you don't know that. I'm hoping that the voters do pay attention to that. He is leading all rookies in F WAR, so I
yeah,
think it'll end up being him, but we'll see.
yeah. The Cowser is going to be funny because in like we've had a run of like Hall of Fame caliber like rookie of the years, and we're gonna look back in like 5 years and be like, Colton Cowser was a rookie of the year, and he's like just a middle of the road everyday player. But
Yeah,
hey,
no,
you
he'll
just
be in the
gotta
MLB a long time, but
yeah,
yeah,
you just gotta. It's all about the field. So he's doing his job. He
yep.
wasn't some top prospect necessarily.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. All right, that's all I got with awards. What else? What else you want to get into? Didn't you say you had one thing you want to talk about?
Um, I was gonna say Iowa football. Cade looked like crap yesterday for our
Yeah, I
Iowa
heard he
fans.
was like 7 of 21. Now that's another thing I want to bring up. We have to do a Talking Hawks preview too. That'll be separate as well.
Yeah,
So a lot of pods coming up.
yeah. Cade looked like crap. The offensive line looked good, which almost makes Cade looking like crap even more concerning. There was a you can watch all the plays on YouTube. The Des Moines Register posted them, all of Cade's snaps, but like there was one, the guy was wide open, and Cade just like overthrew him. He wasn't accurate. He threw a pick six. There was another one that should have been picked by John Nestor. Um, Brendan Sullivan, like Hack and I have talked about it. Like he's getting not a lot of love, but the QB competition stuff has started to come up. And Kirk isn't as committal to Cade as he has been the last year and a half. But the thing is, Brendan Sullivan wasn't exactly great yesterday either. Until his very last play, he was 5 for 15 at one point in that practice. Yeah, he didn't turn it over. He was going against some second team here and there. Like, I'm not ready to say Cade isn't the starter just because of that, because the most likely scenario is we have two mid quarterbacks, and they're going to have days where one looks good, one looks bad. One's better at this, one's better at that. It's nice in terms of like depth. Like if one goes down, you're not going to Deacon Hill, but neither of these guys are going to be the reason Iowa wins games. And I think we have to brace for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't. They're when you go from like year to year and you're replacing quarterback play. Like what Iowa did is they're replacing a really bad quarterback or really bad quarterback play, if you will, with like even an average play. Like that can be huge. So I don't think we need Cade to be a Heisman contender or anything even close to that. Obviously, we all know that, but just keep it within himself. Don't make these bonehead mistakes. You know, he is gonna have to have a game where he throws for 250 and has a couple touchdowns. That if you want to contend, you have to do that. But other than that, keep it within yourself. And
They got to be able
I
to
don't
run
know.
the ball, which I think they will be this year. They got 4 running backs, and they've got an offensive line that's like started 80 games combined. So they'll be all right, I think. They're tight end Luke Lachey's back. I'll save some of this for Talking Hawks. I have some concern, not even really concerns. I have more question marks about, like, obviously we're breaking in a new punter. Our kicker got benched midway through the year, and he's the assumed starter. Defensive line is a little thin, but the top end talent is elite. So there's question marks. Who's going to be the second corner? But I'm not really going as far to say concerns. The only concern I truly have is quarterback.
Yeah, and that's I mean, the defense isn't going to be a problem. So let's just try to keep the offense on the field for as long as possible, sustain these drives, and as long as the defense stays fresh, I think it's a recipe for a good season.
Yeah, I'm going to plug a pod. Chad Listokow of the Des Moines Register did a one-on-one interview with Tim Lesser, the Iowa OC. It was like an hour something long. If you're someone who's into that kind of thing, I thought it was really good. It made me feel a lot better about him as the hire. A lot more motion in the offense. He's going to run a West Coast offense similar to like he's from the Shanahan tree, friends with LaFleur and McVay. Like they're going to have an NFL offense. And interestingly enough, he said that there's really no college team that runs that offense right now, partially because of the rules being a little different, but because in college you can get away with like the RPOs and the guys running down the field. You can't do that in the NFL, so they have to be a little more pro style. So Iowa's never really going to be an RPO team, so that doesn't really impact them. So I'm curious to see how it works. It's still a run first team. Like people forget, like the Rams, the Niners, those are run first teams. That's why Christian McCaffrey was so important to trade for him. Took him to a different level. Makes guys like Brock. It was funny. He had a line. He said something about like basically how Brock Purdy. He like caught himself halfway, but he was saying like Brock Purdy has like the easiest job in the NFL as a quarterback. So he was unintentionally throwing shade a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I don't like the Brock Purdy shade. I'll be betting on him MVP every year for the rest of my life. So I'm a Brock Purdy guy.
Did you actually have a Premier League preview, or was that just a troll?
Oh yeah. So our good friends at the 3 Points Pod, if you've listened to our crossover episodes with them, they're releasing a Premier League preview. I believe Wednesday night they're recording, so it should come out Thursday morning. So you should have time. I'm going to be listening to it Thursday morning for my commute to work. And from there, I will be trying to get all my futures in because the season starts Friday. Looks like Slade just grabbed his notebook. You have some Premier League plays there. Oh,
That's what I've got for you. I made a biggest losers list. I was going to do it for the Olympics. I never got to bring it out, but it says
sure.
Brady's number one. Just listening to him talk about Olympic basketball and soccer, I couldn't take it this last week. I'm biggest winner is me because the Olympics is over, but biggest loser is Brady, you, and Bear. Honorable mention Charlie Rose.
Well, I do want to say I was at a wedding last night. Shout out Darby and Goom. Congratulations. And one of our longtime listeners, Riley Toon, she is wondering why you do not like the Olympics. So I think this is a good way to close the show. I would love for you to just give us like 30 seconds or a minute why you don't like it. And is there any way that you can be convinced 4 years from now when the Olympics come to America, they come to LA, where I live, where we could easily go to many events, is there any way that you would be involved? Because also baseball could potentially be involved, by the way.
Yeah, that would get my interest. I mean, yeah, baseball's not in it, football's not in it, basketball
Flag
is
football is coming next year.
yeah, that'll be cool. Basketball is lopsided. Those are the three main sports. Hockey isn't in it. So those are the four biggest sports in America, and they're all irrelevant. Wrestling, I guess, is decent, but it's like that's like 24 hours of the like 2 week Olympics.
Yeah.
It's boring. All these people that are like pretending to care, it's like it's just phony. Like these people don't half these people didn't know who like these swimmers were until like a week ago, and then they're already forgotten about. I'm not going to pretend to care about something I don't. I couldn't tell you one thing that happened in the 2020 Olympics, who won or what. So like it's not going to register. Like I'm not going to remember in a week. The only thing I would remember is if somebody from the state of Iowa or like that we have ties to did something. Like I already penciled in America was going to win basketball like 4 years ago. So
Well,
I'm
they only
not.
won. They were only up 6. It took some all-time Steph Curry heroics. One of the
Yeah,
best games of his life.
that is kind of crazy that they screwed around for 3.5 quarters. Serbia was up 2 and missed a wide open 3 with a minute left.
Yeah. Happens.
Yeah, that's a little more embarrassing. That's just saving face more so than like actually going out there and dominating. It made for good TV, but the talent disparity was absolutely insane.
Yeah. Well, just in terms of the Olympics, I know you have like little motivation to get involved in these like betting markets, especially like these niche markets where you don't know these players. Like, did I know who Lisa Carrington was a week ago? No. Turns out she's the greatest kayak sprinter of all time. And I bet my literal 401k on her to win a 500-meter sprint, and she won. So
I was
I'm in a
wondering why
good
you
mood.
posted her on your story. I was like, who the hell is Lisa Carrington?
Yeah, that was a 15-unit play by me. Probably very irresponsible, but she won with ease. She won the doubles. She won the teams.
Is
So
golf in the Olympics?
yeah, the Scotty Scheffler was 50-1
Oh,
on the
that's
fourth.
right.
He was
That's
50 to
right.
1 on the 14th hole, and Rahm choked it away and didn't even get on the podium. So I will, for all the listeners in here, thank you for your concern about Slade. I will do my best to get him involved in the Olympics.
If a
And if
Michael
he's not,
Phelps of swimming comes back, I'll get into it. That is cool to me. I'd rather watch swimming because it's like 1 minute of intense shit and it's done. Or like there has to be Usain Bolt or a Michael Phelps type talent or someone going for some sort of history for me to care. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of names I've never heard of running or jumping or doing some sport I don't care about at some obscure time. That's it.
okay, well, what about Katie Ledecky, Sydney McLaughlin? Like
I
their
don't know who Sydney
respective
McLaughlin
ultimate.
is. Katie Ledecky, the name sounded familiar, but I also didn't know any of her accomplishments going in.
Okay. All right. I don't know how to help you, man.
Get Caitlin Clark on the
I don't
women's
know.
team in 2028. I'll tune in. They'll kill everybody, but I'll tune in.
Okay. All right. Well, I will be posting a job application for a new co-host just for the 2028 Olympics. So for 2 weeks, if anybody wants to hop on board, Slade, we're going to get you a all expenses paid vacation so far away from LA so you don't have to be near the
I was
Olympics.
gonna say, let's Airbnb your place that week. Let's get it rolling now. Turn it into an investment.
I would personally rather just take 2 weeks off of work and just spend everything I have and go to every event every day. Your good friend Larry went to the Paris Olympics, so you should have him. We should get him on the pod to talk about his experience. Could learn something.
You're right.
But all right, everybody, this was kind of a mishmash episode. We appreciate you guys listening. Touched on a few things, but like I said, the biggest thing here was we just wanted to get back online, get something out there, let you guys know we appreciate the following, and we're going to be back coming strong starting next week with the college football preview. We do have some potential guests lined up. I talked to Evan Davis last night. He's really excited to come back on the pod, which I think is now he's a Padres fan, so now's a good time to talk about them as the playoff race is heating up. Only 2.5 games back from the Dodgers. And then obviously we have NFL and a whole lot of other good things, including the U.S. Open tennis. So just want to end the show with our usual. I'm going to add these onto the 6-pack. This is a yearly tradition. We're going Man City to win the Premier League and Erling Haaland most goals. So all reliable.
What's the Man City number?
I'll just
what is it, like minus 300? Doesn't even matter.
No, it's not even that. It's futures. Man City's plus 120. You got to be kidding me. Plus 120.
Free money. Holy shit. Let's wait for them to lose. Like every year in like October, they look like shit for like 2 weeks. And then people like me who are, I mean, I'm somewhat of an Arsenal fan, are like, oh my God, Arsenal's top of the table. We can do this. No, you can't.
Arsenal does have the second best odds at
they're
plus 175. Yeah, they're a solid team, but Man City, as long as they stay healthy, too good. So these are the two 6-pack plays: Man City plus 120 and Erling Haaland to lead most goals at minus 145. And I guess I should say this too. What do you say we call it wraps on season 1? So this is the first episode of season 2. I'll mark it off on the 6-pack tracker. Everything that's already been posted on here will count as season 1, but from here on out, it's been over a year. We just paid our subscription to Zencaster, so we are in it for another year. Excited to do it.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, I agree. This is a good time to cut it off because otherwise we're gonna have all of our future bets mixed with last year's future bets. This is a clean slate.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good, everybody. Appreciate it. We'll link our 6-pack tracker so you can check things out. Feel free to follow us along, and remember, only bet as much as you're willing to win. #bet responsibly. All right, we'll catch you guys later. This has been another episode of Bet GPT.